you one for birthdays.
Oh my God, but you shouldn't break up a wonderful set.
No, I mean, it was two of the guy with the long scarf. Who's that guy?
Doctor Who?
Yeah. Two action figures of Doctor Who from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Okay.
Uh-huh. We're streaming.
Was it Arnold Horshack that had the long
Yeah,
scarf?
that's what it was. It's Horshack. Maybe it was just a regular scarf and I'm confusing him with Doctor Who. I don't know.
It's such a strange affectation for a high schooler, right? Like,
Chilly neck.
I guess so. All right.
I'm enjoying our talks about Welcome Back, Kotter lately.
Yeah, me too. There's I know that you're never going to listen to it.
Mm-mm.
There's a podcast episode of The Mystery Show by Starlee Kine where she does detective work that you can't do on the internet.
Oh.
That's about the mystery of there's a Welcome Back Kotter lunchbox that has artwork that's like doesn't seem to refer to an existing show episode. So basically the question is what's up with that?
Is it artwork or is it photos?
No, like the style of like those metal lunch boxes.
Yeah, they would have like artistic interpretations of stuff.
Yeah, there's sort of like a painted version.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what's happening on it, but it's like not something that actually happens in any episode. And it's like, what's going on here?
Like the artist was told vaguely about one episode and he's like, I got it. It's fine. I can do this.
I feel like, so like on the mystery show, they solve a lot of mysteries that can't be solved with the internet. I don't remember the answer to this one. And I'm a little bit worried that it was left a little bit half answered.
That's too bad.
I know, because we all like our mysteries to be solved, except
It's
for
true.
unsolved mysteries.
Yeah, that guy's an asshole. I used to also collect old lunch boxes in the 90s. The only one I remember is from Space 1999. I don't know what happened to those either.
Oh, I don't know if they still have it or not. I don't even know if this place is still open. There used to be a bar downtown that had an entire wall of beautiful old vintage lunchbox, and it's like that hits me where I live, of course.
Absolutely.
Like yeah, I mean, like I don't want to I don't want to be manipulated by nostalgia that way, but there it is.
But they got it.
Yeah,
that honestly, that would bum me out
to see all those things.
I
mean, it's kind of nice because it's like a museum of lunchboxes in a place where you can like play pool and darts.
Sure. I appreciate it, but I think it would bum me out because I don't own those things.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I hear you. I understand. There's like there's a part of me that's like the collector gene is deeply entangled with the hoarder gene. And that's why I like
money.
Well, money and also space. Like decades ago, I was like, okay, I'm not allowed to go into toy stores, record stores, comic book stores. Like at a certain point, bookstores were completely off the list. Like,
oh
yeah, just like everything. Like, what's wrong with me?
What? You're human?
I'm more human than human.
That reminds me of a song.
Sing it.
I forgot how it goes.
All right, let's clap this in. What's up, everybody? It's On Fire Tonight with Josh and Tressa. We are here to talk about Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 2, Martial Feats of Comanche Horsemanship. And we're going to spoil it. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, pause, Boom, you're back. Welcome
Welcome
back.
Good one, Josh.
No, good one, Tressa.
Hey, let's talk about Welcome Back, Cotter for like an hour. Can we do that?
Right? God, that show was good. I think. I mean,
I
just remember that I liked it more than anything.
I remember Mr. Cotter was the best part of the show, and the students annoyed me.
Oh, I feel like they were all such great characters. And I'm trying to remember who was the vice principal.
John Travolta.
No, there was the vice principal was like a stick in the mud. He was like the crusty old dean they always had to like get over on.
Robot house.
Yeah. Okay, so this episode starts with a big old flashback.
Yeah, it does. It's an old one. World War I, Germany, Stenopool.
The war to end all wars, or so they done thought.
Idiots.
We're in Germany, and a leaflet is being typed up in English addressed to colored soldiers in the American army serving in Germany, fighting against the Germans.
And he's got all good points.
Yeah, he does have all good points. He's like, in America, you're not even treated like an equal citizen. Here, you would be welcomed. I ask you, throw down your guns and join us. Come to Germany. Have a better life.
I know I asked this before, but even pre-Nazis, would it be a good life for a Black person in Germany?
Hard to say, right? Because it's like for hundreds of years, Germany was more welcoming to the Jews than like pretty much anywhere else. Yeah, and it sucks, right? Because it's like, really? That was the best place? So as far as like loving or hating or scapegoating or genociding, like
blah, 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 blah.
There's a lot going on over there. So like between World War I and World War II, you have the short-lived Weimar era. And like that's, you know, if you've ever seen like the movie Cabaret, or like there's a show called Babylon Berlin that takes place during that nebulous time. Anyway, it was like a time of great sort of left-leaning culture in the early 20th century.
Oh, and they'd had to do a hard right turn.
They did a super duper hard right turn. Yeah, because it was like,
you guys are having too much fun
basically,
and being too nice. So let's fuck this up.
Robot house.
Yeah.
So we see the father from the first episode serving as a soldier in Germany. Those leaflets get dropped out of a plane and he gets one. And that piece of paper is what he will write the note, watch over this boy, and leave it with his son as he sends him in a rocket ship from the soon to be exploding Krypton.
Oh, I missed that part. Because
no, because like, you know, when he leaves Tulsa, it's an explosion and he's like the last survivor or one of the few.
That wasn't ours.
I think
you're saying
there's a direct parallel here.
You're saying he is Dr. Manhattan. You're saying
I'm saying he's Superman.
I'm
saying he's the original superhero.
I don't know what that is.
I'm saying he's Clark Kent.
I don't know what
Superman.
that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course he's Jewish. That's a line from the 1980 Superman.
I'm not familiar.
Did you never see that movie?
No, of course I did. I don't remember it though. I was like, what? 5? I don't know.
Okay.
5, 8. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like a good age to see a Superman movie, it seems like. Any whoosies. We cut to right now.
right now. And
Yeah.
Angela's under the tree and this right back to where we were, where she's discovering Judd has been hung.
Hanged.
Hung.
No, it's hanged.
I don't care. I'm still going to say hung.
Well, then you're going to sound like a fool.
Oh, that'll be first.
Unless, of course, you're quoting Blazing Saddles. I heard you was hung.
I always am. So she's there, and the old man in the wheelchair that's outside the bakery is there.
Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not his name in the show, so...
It's Will. He plays the character Will.
Mm-hmm. And she takes him to the bakery.
Yeah. Chains him to a table.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes back into the Batcave part of it and has a super duper freak out because her best friend is dead. And she's got this fucking wheelchair bound old man
held hostage.
What the fuck is even going on?
Right. Who, how, what? That's what I'll say about that. Who, how, what?
She gets into costume. She's Sister Night. She comes back out to where he's chained up and serves him a hot cup of coffee. He asks, do you have milk? She says no. He says some bakery. And then he chugs the fucking hot coffee. Oh, I'm sorry. He says, hey, do you have any sugar? She says no. There you go. And she
crucial details, Josh.
He says, do you have any sugar? She says no. Mm-hmm. And he says some bakery and then chugs it black. She's like, what the fuck was that? Like her eyes say it all. Mm-hmm. She's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the one that strung up the chief.
Bullshit.
You're a 90-year-old man. I'm 105 years old. Thank you very much. She's like, how would you even do that? He's like, maybe I'm Dr. Manhattan. She's like, he's on Mars and he can't look like us. He's like, maybe he can. He can turn himself into two people, change his skin color.
I mean, that is a fair point. He can do a lot of shit. How can he not just look like us?
Anyway, he had like a bottle of pills that like she put on the table. And he's like, I need my pills. And she's like, well, if you're Dr. Manhattan, why don't you just float him on over? Boom. And he's like, okay, I'm not him.
Who are you then?
He's like, listen, I'm Will. And there is a vast and insidious conspiracy right here in Tulsa. And I have to give it to you in pieces.
I was just trying to think of the Music Man. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, the Music Man? What about the Music Man?
Because he was like, there's a conspiracy here, right here. And I couldn't.
River City.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, sorry.
Wait, is it a conspiracy?
No, but right here in ... reminded me of Music Man, and it's not important.
No, but wait, what's that line?
Yeah, it's River City.
Right yeah. But what's the? It's
there's a what is it? Google it.
It starts with we got trouble right here in River City
with the capital T.
With a capital T that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. Okay, the two of us together have half a brain.
Yes, but what an entertaining brain it might be.
She gets paged. She calls in. She's like, you paged me. They found the body. They call her in. She's like, okay, I'll be there soon. She bags his coffee mug because now that shit is evidence.
Hello.
And then we cut to the newsstand. And the newsstand, which is like straight out of the comic book, that guy, the way he's dressed, everything about him. And he's like sort of a conspiracy nut.
See, I was wondering what that scene had to do with anything, but if it's just like a nod to the comic book, sure. But
I mean, well, there's a few things, right? So there's that.
Give it to me.
And then there's like a headline about global squid falls baffling scientists. And he's got his own theory about how like President Redford is like doing that. It's a false flag. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And while he's talking, this like tween girl gets out of like a Hummer limo or something.
Yeah.
And she's got a standing order. He gives her every newspaper, like one of each.
And he's like, does she really read all of these? Do you?
Yeah. And the little girl's like, yes, she does. Do you? Don't you? And he's like, I do, but I don't believe it.
Yep.
Sister Night arrives at the crime scene. Looking Glass sits down in the passenger seat of her car. She gives him some nuts to snack on.
That's right. He eats all her nuts.
That's right. He does. He eats all of her nuts. Why are you giggling, you goofball?
Because I'm like 8.
Right? Like fart.
See, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I hate her nuts.
This is like every October, like my mind immediately turns to the Monster Mash and then immediately turns from there to the Monster Fuck from Comedy Death Ray. And 100%. I'm straight up an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. Like, that's the funniest thing in the world to me.
I agree. We should throw, never mind, that's a bad idea. What? I was going to say, we should throw a monster fuck party, but that's a bad idea. I don't want to do that.
Just a monster gangbang?
No, thank you. I'm not going to that, but go ahead and do that. So
also, there are like there's so many like Monster Mash songs, but there's one that's like an oldie that sounds basically like it is a monster gangbang. It's like, yeah. Frankenstein was the first in line and Dracula came up next.
No.
Yeah. That's what it seems to be. The singer seems to be singing about a bunch of monsters gangbanging him.
Oh, what year was that made?
I don't know. Maybe the early 60s, I'm guessing.
Oh my God. Is that up on your Halloween playlist?
It is.
Oh.
But to be fair, there's like 500 songs on that playlist. It's more of a vibe than a curated list.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. It's like, sometimes you want a hot mixtape that's just like 10 songs. And sometimes you just want to put that shit on shuffle and have it be like,
the mood.
Lots of surprises.
Yes. Who doesn't love a surprise?
Who doesn't love a parade?
I don't know. Some kind of asshole. That's who.
Actually, I kind of hate parades.
Yeah, I do not care for them.
I guess we're assholes.
We knew that. So a Looking Glass is telling Sister Night exactly how he died and how it was painful the entire time until it wasn't. Or he was alive the entire time until he wasn't.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, they talk about like, so what do we think? Was it the 7th Cavalry? That's like the obvious conclusion because they're the ones that kill cops.
Right.
But we don't know. And so right as they're talking about it, a fucking paparazzi guy in a Mothman flying costume drops on the hood of her car.
Straight out of the Tick.
Is great. And Red Scare, who's like one of the masked cops.
Have I said how much I love the Red Scare yet?
He's great, right?
He's so great.
I love that he's a cartoon character within the show.
Absolutely.
He's super violent in a show that like is highly critical of violence. Anyway, whatever. So he beats the shit out of that guy. And they cut down the chief, and then we have a flashback.
Wait. Wait, before we go to the flashback. Question.
Why everything you do is fresh? Answer the name Blastmaster KRS.
Question number 2. They just cut Judd's body down just then. How does Wade know all that shit about how he died and the marks on his body?
Guess he's like good with forensics and stuff.
How can he tell that from the ground?
I don't know.
Was it him? Did he do it?
No, it was
Oh.
Will. It was Will in the wheelchair by the old oak tree.
Oh, with a candlestick. Flashback.
With a flashlight.
Yeah, flashlight. That's disgusting.
Flashlight.
It's Christmas.
It is. Eartha Kitt is singing Santa Baby. And it's 2 minutes to midnight, which is also straight from the comic. Everything about the comic is 2 minutes to midnight on the
really?
Doomsday Clock.
Oh, right.
The Doomsday Clock. And everything is about fear of nuclear annihilation in that timeline. Anyway, yeah. So we see the grandfather clock. Cal wants to open his presents. He doesn't want to wait.
Who does?
This was 7 years ago, I guess. It was the White Knight, because right at midnight, there's a home invasion. Rorschach mask dudes storm the house with guns. There's
Angela does some ninja moves.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Hides, grabs knives, stabs guys in the throat, grabs guns, about to shoot another guy, and she gets blasted in the stomach.
And then there's a guy in a Rorschach mask approaching her with a gun. She loses consciousness. She wakes back up in the hospital. Judd is by her side. He tells her that Cal is okay, that he spent the past 3 days in that hospital chair waiting for her to wake up. There was a coordinated attack on 40 different police houses.
And that's fine. Let's round everybody up and get those fuckers. Let's get them. It's fine.
He tells her that her partner Doyle and his wife died, but their kids hid and survived. And that's Topher and Rosie and Emma, the 3 kids that now Angela and Cal are raising.
Wait, how long ago was the White Knight? Because
maybe it wasn't 7 years ago.
Yeah,
it was a few years ago. Couple years ago.
Yeah,
long enough ago. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
It's fine. I wasn't trying to be a dick about it, but
no, you're right. You're right. Because like those kids are little.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So she's like, well, we're gonna kill them all. That's fine. Let's go get them. And Judd's like, nah. Everyone's either dead or resigned. There are no cops right now.
And she's like, well, I'm not going to resign. And Judd smiles and he says, well, then I won't quit either. He's like, I just told you that your partner and his wife are dead. It's okay to cry. And she says, maybe later. And there's like a tender moment where they're holding each other's hands. And then we cut back to the present moment and she's holding his now dead hand. And they zip him up into a body bag. And Red Scare's like, okay, let's go to Nixonville and beat shit out of them. And she's like, well, hold on a second. Maybe like cooler heads should prevail. And
wait. You don't want to beat shit out of these fucks? You love to beat shit out of those fucks.
Right? Like, so are you coming to beat shit or are you still going to stand here and breathe?
I love him.
So they go to Nixonville to bust heads. And there's like a giant caricature statue of Richard Nixon.
It's not flattering.
The victory salute. Yeah, it's not a nice depiction, but any stretch of the imagination. It's the kind of thing that you would see in like critical artwork made at the time about him.
Or of Trump when he was president. Like,
right, or just
that
whatever.
Giant baby statue of Trump. That's what it reminded me of. Only Nixon.
So Red Scare is like, I don't give a fuck who of, like, some of you are in cavalry, some of you are not. You will all go into our police wagons. Anyone that doesn't go, we tear down your fucking idol. So he counts backwards from 10. Somebody throws a bottle.
Fuck it. Everybody round them up.
horrific police violence ensues against the racists in Nixonville. There's a wild beating. She's standing next to Looking Glass while the action is going down. And some dude comes up with a bat. She pushes Looking Glass out of the way, shoves this guy to the ground, and then just beats his face in.
Just goes to town on him.
Then
she stands up and just like kind of, you know what? I'm going to go take that breath.
Yeah, she collects herself. She goes into the car. She's like, what the fuck am I doing? She sees the coffee mug in a plastic bag. And she's like, oh, right. I was doing something.
I was in the middle of something. Hold up.
Right. So then you see her. She's out of her Sister Night makeup. She's in plain clothes. She's walking with the coffee cup in her bag. She goes to the Museum of Oral History of Black Wall Street. And she is greeted by a video kiosk where Henry Louis Gates Jr., the U.S. Treasury Secretary, you can call him Skip,
I will,
welcomes her and says that anyone who is directly affected by the Tulsa Massacre or a direct descendant is eligible for benefits and they can do DNA testing. And she consents to do DNA testing, and the kiosk dispenses a little like Q-tip, and it's like, okay, rub this like inside your mouth. And she rubs it inside the coffee mug. And
I mean, it's brilliant, but would
yeah.
there be enough DNA on that cup for that even to work? I mean, think of all the cells you have on the inside of your mouth, just like gathering up on this Q-tip compared to like your lip kind of touching a mug every once in a while.
I mean, I think that's a question for Henry Louis Gates Jr.
I also want to point out that I don't mean to be nitpicky like that, and I apologize. Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think that they can do a lot with very little, but I think that also calls into question all sorts of things. Like, what makes you think that that's just that one person's DNA and not like any number of people who've touched it over the years?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like,
maybe that's why it came back that she was his granddaughter, because it had her DNA in there as well. Because she used that mug before. Okay, anyway. She gets home and there's an old asshole waiting for her on her porch.
Yeah, that's the racist grandfather of the kids she's raising. He's like, it's my day. And she's like, will you take a rain check? He's like, I'll take a real check. And
Fine.
So she goes and writes him a check to pay him off to get rid of him. And he's like, oh, it must feel good to put those Redfordations to work. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm raising your grandkids, you piece of shit.
Yeah, raising them well. But also, I really hate this stupid pronunciation. I get it now. I get it. But I hate it. It sounds so stupid every time. Like, oh, I hate it. Anyway.
Well, you can write a letter to Congress.
All right, I will. Dear Congress, I was watching the show, and this has nothing to do with anything you do, but Robert Redford was the president, and he got reparations, Redfordations to people, and racists were upset. Please stop making people pronounce it that way. Love, Tressa.
Right. You're not upset at reparations as
I love
concept. Them. You're just mad about people calling them Redfordations.
Hate it.
Okay, so she goes inside and Cal is playing with the kids. He's a ghost. Topher's a pirate, and one of the girls is an owl, and they're making the ghost walk the plank. And this is like kind of a shout out, I think, to the pirate comic within the comic.
It sounds like it.
I think. Anyway. Cal asks, are we safe? Because he's just been hiding like a chicken from that old man.
Of course. He's a dumbass racist. Who knows what he would do?
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't Topher. It was the two girls they were playing.
Oh, yeah.
So Topher's in his room. Angela goes up and she's like, hey, Can we talk? And he's building a model.
Some real connects shit.
Right.
Very intricate and huge.
I'm not positive, but I think that he was making a model of the same castle that we see
Jeremy's Iron?
in Jeremy's Irons stories.
I didn't notice it. It was very large. That's all I noticed.
I'm not positive. I don't know for sure. I was just like, what the fuck is that?
That's fair.
Anyway, she's like, listen, you and I, we don't do lollipops and rainbows. We do straight stuff. I'm going to tell it like it is. Your Uncle Judd is dead. He was killed. Some people hanged him. He's like, okay. He's a police officer. Policemen die. Don't tell Rosie and Emma. I'll tell them tomorrow. And then he knocks over his model and says, can I watch TV? And she says, sure.
Oh, baby.
And so we see the two girls are getting tucked in for bed. And Topher is sitting on the couch with Cal, and American Hero Story is about to start.
Hell yeah, it is.
And just so you understand how popular this show is, this like over the top, super violent, super tabloidy, like mega show.
Yeah.
That family's watching. Looking Glass is at home watching, and a bunch of like terrorists in Rorschach masks are somewhere also watching. Every demographic watches this show.
All right. So what you're saying is everybody's watching this show.
Everybody's watching the show. Jeremy's Iron.
It's like the Welcome Back Kotter of this timeline, is what you're saying.
It's like the last episode of MASH, except it airs every week.
Got it.
I mean, it's like Super Bowl numbers, I guess. Like, except I don't watch that. I don't know.
I don't know.
What's popular now. Okay, so anyway, the show starts and there's like an hour-long warning before the show.
Basically, just turn off your TV. Just do not watch this.
It's like, this is very violent and there are horrible views expressed and no one should ever say these things or think them.
I mean, that's great.
So it opens like Sunset Boulevard with a body floating in the water. It's like, that's me. I'm dead, except it's not me. I just want people to think it is. To tell you who I am, I have to go back to the beginning. And so we cut to an old timey shoot on like there's a street and four guys walk past. There's a kid hawking a newspaper that's all about War of the Worlds and how it was like the alien invasion was a hoax.
Yeah.
Winkety wink, wink, wink. Yeah.
Damn.
So they don't have time for that shit. They just push right past these.
After they grab it out of his hands and throw it on the ground, stupid kid with your newspaper.
So these four dudes go into this brightly lit grocer. It's just like a corner grocer, a small place.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like they could have a lot of money on their best day.
No.
These four guys whip out guns. They're like, "Get me the money, open the safe." They're firing guns.
They really thought he had a safe.
Maybe he does.
But maybe.
So Hooded Justice, the most mysterious and first masked hero, crashes through the window and in an act of unbridled violence,
oh my god,
destroys all four of these guys.
Yeah, he what I wrote down was takes down all the bad guys with murder.
Yeah, he's like, rather than foiling these small-time crooks,
I'm gonna crush their skulls into small pieces,
turn them into pretzels. And then someone asks, "Who are you?" And he gives an incredibly long monologue about like, when I looked in the mirror, I never recognized who it was. And then I didn't like my own skin, so I changed it. And then I became this. And the two of us became one, and his hate and anger became mine, and mine became his.
Oh my God. Okay, we get it. Jesus
Right, like
fucking
fucking
Christ.
A.
Ugh. I don't care for him.
Right. Well, but you got to remember, this is the super tabloid version.
Okay.
So Angela goes to make a condolence call to Jane. That's Judd's widow.
She's having like a wake type thing.
Yeah, a reception of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Keene is there. She works for Senator Keene. He promises support to get the animals.
So do you think that was like
this.
a wink, I know who you are and what you do, or just I'm an idiot?
I don't know. She tells him she's not a cop anymore. And he's like, oh, okay.
And then she faints.
Yeah. And Jane like tucks her into her own bed.
So cute.
And is like, hey, you just take as long as you need. And before she goes, she's like, but you gotta promise to get those fuckers that did this to my Judd.
Hey, God.
Yeah.
I'm one person. So she leaves. Jane leaves. And Angela's like, time to snoop. And
yeah, she puts on these crazy X-ray vision goggles.
Yeah, they're great. And she's looking all around the closet and in his drawers, and she finds a motherfucking mannequin with a motherfucking Klan robe hidden behind some door. That wasn't
the
a
Klan
door.
robe has a police badge on it, and it's directly opposite the photo of Grandpa. And by the way, earlier when she was with Will back at her bat cave, she was like, why did you kill Judd? Assuming that you did that. And he's like, he's got skeletons in his closet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. So Angela discovers this Klan robe in the closet.
Grabs it.
Basically in a secret display case.
Yeah. Like I was confused by this secret thing because it like juts out from the wall. It wasn't like hidden. It was just a piece of wall between two things of hanging clothes.
It's not like this shameful artifact, but it's still like your family, so you don't get rid of it. So it's like tucked away in a box in the like basement. It's in a secret display. It's in a secret place of honor that you visit every day.
Yes. Because otherwise it would be in a box in the attic or burnt or in mildewing in the basement or not on display in your fucking closet.
So she beats it out of the house and she passes a painting of Indians on her way out. And I believe that is where we get the title for this episode. And we cut from those Indians on horseback
to Jeremy's iron on a horseback.
Yeah, he's riding on his estate.
He rides up to a tomato tree, which is a thing where he lives. Takes a bite out of one and then squeezes it to nothing and drops it.
Should have had a V8.
Oh!
I'd like to thank our sponsor, V8. It's tomato soup masquerading as juice.
Delicious. If you like tomatoes pureed and cooked and then served.
Cool. Yeah, that's not for me.
Me neither.
Like, I've never understood the appeal of a Bloody Mary.
With vodka, especially, ew. 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 I actually do. I don't mind a bloody beer. It's a nice combination. Taste-wise. A bloody beer. Like,
what's a bloody beer?
I think it's got a different name in Spanish, but I always called it a bloody beer before I knew what that was.
It's like when you take like lime juice and like a dash of hot sauce
and tomato juice
and tomato juice. I don't think you use tomato juice. This is like a michelada or a
Yeah. It's like half
wait,
Bloody Mary
isn't that
mix,
right?
half beer.
I don't think that's right. I think that you might be getting.
No, I'm not saying anyone has ever made it for me. I'm saying I would make them when I would wake up from a bartending shift, and it was delightful.
Oh,
I can't do vodka. Vodka and tomatoes, are you disgusting? But beer and cold tomatoes, hello.
you know what? To each their own. To each their own. To each their own.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeremy's Iron is totally having a raw Bloody Mary with no vodka in it.
He sits down to a redux of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The butler and maid sing for he's a jolly good fellow. He's like, speed it up, speed it up.
Yeah. We get it.
And he's like, okay, so when is a lie not a lie? And she's like, when it is acting. And he's like, great. And tonight I want to see real tears, great emotion. And so
What happens in the play?
Well,
Tell me about the play, Josh.
Phillips is like, I'm going to need that watch that I
Mhm.
gifted you back as a prop. And he's like, have you ever considered that you are the prop?
Wait a minute.
Anyway,
That's
on with the
rude.
show, dimwits.
I love him.
So the play that they act out is Dr. Manhattan's origin story.
Okay, real quick. How great would the whole show be if it was just Jeremy's Iron and the Red Scare? Just a buddy cop film. So good, right?
Oh my God, right?
So
like
good.
He's like a prim proper detective.
Yeah.
And Red Scare, I beat shit out of fuck.
Yeah. I want that. Okay, so the play.
But then like in the twist at the end, it's like Red Scare has to use like some high level detecting and Jeremy's Iron needs to beat shit out of some fuck.
Yeah, they learn how each of them operates, and together it brings them closer together, and they fall in love. It's a
wonderful friendship. It warms my heart.
Me too.
So, okay, they act out Dr. Manhattan's amazing origin story, including Phillips getting fucking burned to death. By Phillips.
Yeah, really confusing if you don't 100% know what's going on, because he literally burns to death.
And Jeremy's Iron is like, Crookshanks, I want to see tears. And you see what looks like real tears. And then descending from the heavens, reborn.
Jesus?
No. John Osterman is now Dr. Manhattan in full blue penis glory. In full
Either
blue
one.
penis glory.
Glory works.
The end. Oh, nothing ever ends. Bow.
Bow.
Bow, wow, 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 wow. I want candy. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so everyone in the stage crew takes off their black masks, and all of them have the same face. It's Crookshanks and Phillips all over the place.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me they're all clones?
Something.
Androids?
Something.
Robots? Relatives?
Robot house! So they're like, okay, so we'll put him in the basement with the others. We'll have a use for him before too long. And then he pries the watch back out of the burned guy's hand.
That is unsettling.
Yeah. And then we cut from that watch to a timer at the bakery.
Will's making some hard-boiled potatoes. I mean, tomatoes, because you can't hard-boil a potato. Wait, did I say tomatoes and not eggs? Hold on. All right, so Will's making some hard-boiled eggs that he got at the grocery store after he got out of his chains at the bakery.
Yeah, Angela gets back.
Did I say eggs that time?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Angela's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making eggs. He's like, where'd you get eggs? oh, I got out of the chains. I went over to the store. I got them. I came back to make them.
That's what you do.
And she's like, did you hide this in his closet? This was very easy to find. And he's like, was it in his closet?
I wasn't being literal.
Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck is even going on here? She gets a call. It is the DNA test is back. It confirms 2 ancestors and 2 descendants. Will, would you like to know the name of any of your descendants? And she says, Angela Abar. And he says, you, Angela Abar, is your granddaughter.
So,
so there's like some serious what the fuckery.
right. And do we know?
Also, we just watch him reach into the boiling water and take out an egg.
He's like, dunk, 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 crunch, crunch, crunch. But
it's a tough old guy.
Yeah, he's 105, bro.
He doesn't have time to wait for an egg to cool.
No, don't be stupid. Do we know if Angela has a sibling or relative at all? Or was that just a throwaway that he has another relative?
I don't know.
Relative?
I don't know.
Okay.
She's like, you're under arrest. And she takes him out to her car and she's helping him in.
Let me just get you in this car real quick. And close the door. Whoa, what? Yeah, there's a giant UFO shining. Well, I don't know, a giant ship shining light directly onto her car, and then a giant magnet slams onto the top of it and lifts her car away with Will inside it.
You see him smile at her through the mirror.
He's like, double birds, fuck you, told you, bye.
Well, he doesn't double bird at all, but he is like,
he wasn't his soul though.
And then as the spaceship just lifts this car away into God knows where, that same note that was dropped at the beginning of the episode by Germans on to Will's father drops from Will to his own granddaughter with the note, watch over this boy, scrawled on it. And the end credit music is Eggman by the Beastie Boys.
Delightful.
Right? Which is a postmodern take on their older song, Egg Raid on Mojo.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that song.
Oh, that's from their punk days.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember a lot from that. I heard that album like 3 times.
I'm sure it's on the internet.
I'm sure.
Have you looked at the internet?
What's on there?
So much.
Like what? What, like 5 things?
Like cat pictures.
Oh.
Unlikely animal friendships.
Oh. Like an alligator and a rabbit?
Maybe. Probably.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's it. Just animal pictures. That's all that's on the internet.
That's all I'm aware of.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty neat, I guess.
Yeah.
Good for Bill Gates.
Right. He invented the
animals.
Yeah. So what do you think? Are you into the show?
I'm into this show, bro.
All right, man. There's a lot going on. But you know what?
What?
That's all the time we have for this episode.
Oh no.
Yeah, it sucks.
I was just getting started.
I know.
I guess we'll just have to watch another episode and talk about that one.
Fuck yeah, we will. So tune back in, everybody.
Oh yeah, I gotta do